Welcome, I'm Seema from Edufinite. In this video, we're going to understand the basic rules involved in using preposition of time at, in, and on. If you have any queries, you can ask me in the comment section. Let us delve into the topic. Now, what is a preposition? A preposition is a word or a phrase that is used before a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase to indicate direction, time, place, location, special relationships, or to introduce an object. Example: at, in, into, off, on, onto, to, above, across, below, in front of, from, under, within, etc. Now, in today's lessons, we will study how and where to use the preposition of time. At, in, and on. Now, preposition of time. At, in, and on. Let us understand how and where we use them. Let's begin with at. We use at with the precise or specific time. So when we are pinpointing time at a particular moment, when it's precise or specific, we use at as preposition of time. When we try to use precise time of the day, we use at. For example, at 5 o'clock. So throughout the day, see, 5 o'clock means at a particular time, not throughout the day. It's a particular pinpointing that particular moment. So at 5 o'clock, at 6:15 p.m. So this is also very precise, exactly evening 6:15. So it's 6:15 p.m. Then again, we use the holidays, the name of the holidays without the day. For example, especially festivity. For example, at Easter, at Diwali. Next, again throughout the day, we pinpoint at 3 specific moments which we use preposition of time as at. Example, at noon. That means exactly at 12 o'clock in the daytime. At night. So with night only we use at. Next, another thing is at midnight. That means 12 o'clock in the night time. So at midnight. So these are all specific times that we pinpoint with the preposition of time at. Next, again at lunchtime, at bedtime, at the weekend, at the moment, at the same time. So all these are all precise or specific time that we pinpoint at. Again, at sunrise or at sunset. So what are we trying to say? Exactly the moment when the sun is rising, or at sunset when the sun is setting down, exactly at that particular moment. So let's look into some of the sentences. I left office at 5 o'clock today. So that's the exact time when I left my office. So we use at over here to pinpoint the time. The next news bulletin is at 6:15 p.m. So here again, we are again pinpointing at a specific time. So the next news bulletin is at 6:15 p.m. I enjoy bursting crackers with my family at Diwali. So when it's Diwali time, I'm with my family and I love to burst crackers. Next, we eat lunch at noon. So very particular about health. Hence, we always eat lunch at noon. That means 12 o'clock daytime. Next, did you hear the hoot of the owl at midnight? So it was midnight. I was hearing the hoot of an owl. So I was wondering whether everyone is hearing or am I imagining. So the next morning when I wake up, I asked my siblings, did you hear the hoot of an owl at midnight? Sam often travels at weekend. So what does Sam do? Sam, he often has to travel. And when does he choose to travel? At the weekend. I love to see the orange hue at sunset. So when the sun is setting, the sky is splashed with the orange hue, which I just love to see. So the sentence is, I love to see the orange hue at sunset. Well, now let's move on to the next preposition of time, and that is on. Now, we use on for days and dates. And let's see how. On Sundays. So here we are specifying the day. We are focusing on the day. So on Sundays or on Thursday, it can be an S or it can be without an S. On Christmas Day. So here festivity with which we have day, we use on Christmas Day, but at Christmas. So that's the difference. On Republic Day, on Independence Day, or on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Eve. So when we have something attached, either eve or day, attached to the festivity or to that particular day which we are describing, because Christmas is always on 25th December, so that's particular. So for that reason, at Christmas, which we had done earlier. But over here, on is a little less precise, a little more general, because at is very precise, but on is less precise. So here we consider the whole day. The whole day. So it's on Christmas Day, on Republic Day, on Independence Day, or on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Eve, again on your birthday. So the day. We are focusing on the day. On their anniversary. On 7th, now we are focusing on the dates. On 7th of August. So that's a particular date. On 7th of August. Or on 7, we write the numerical 7 and August. Then on 5th of March. On 5th March 2019. So this is how we use the preposition of time on, and let's look into some of the sentences to understand it better. The offices are closed on Sundays. Why did we use that S with a Sunday? Because it's every Sunday. It's not, I'm not talking about any particular Sunday, but in each and every Sunday, the offices are closed. So we use S after when it's a repetition that something occurs every particular, after a particular period, maybe on Sundays or Mondays, whatever happens every time, every Monday, every Sunday. So we use S for it. The offices are closed on Sundays. Next, we are going to watch the movie on Thursday. So again, coming Thursday, or maybe the Thursday on this week, as the Thursday approaches, on particular Thursday, maybe today is say Tuesday or Monday, and I'm talking to someone, maybe my friend has asked, when are you going to watch the movie? So I told her that we are going to watch the movie on Thursday. Next, where will you be on Republic Day? So Republic Day is a holiday. So I'm asking my friend, where will you be on Republic Day? Maybe I'm asking one of my friend. Maybe I wanted to invite her. So I'm trying to know where she'll be on Republic Day. If she is free, then I'll invite her. What are you all planning to do on New Year's Eve? So maybe I'm asking my family members that New Year is approaching. So what's your plan? So I'm asking them, what are you all planning to do on New Year's Eve? What are you planning to do on your birthday? So again, birthday. Again, birthday means planning. So all the sentences are centering around planning. Okay. So again, maybe my son's birthday is approaching and I'm asking him, What are you planning to do on your birthday? Next, their anniversary is on 7th August. We were in London on 5th March 2019. Maybe someone is asking me on 5th March 2019, where were you, or something of that sort. So then I remind that person, actually I was in London. So we were in London on 5th March 2019. Well, the next preposition of time is in. Now we use in with the parts of the day without being specific. Months, years, seasons, centuries, and long periods. It can be decades also. Now, so parts of day, months, years, decades, and season. Let's see. In the morning or in the mornings. In the afternoon or in the afternoons. In the evenings or in the evening. Next, in April, in any month, April, May, June, any month, you have to write in. In 2020, so when we include year, we'll have to use the preposition of time in. So for years, for months, for decades, for seasons, for centuries, for long periods, because in is something very general. So anything when we refer to as, general, nothing specific, then we use the preposition of time in. So in April, so it's throughout the April. In April. In 2020, it's throughout the year. In 2020. In the 1980s, that means it's on that particular year, throughout the year, in the 1980s. Or that particular decade, in the 90s. In the spring, so as I said about the season, in the spring, in summer, or in the summer, or in the fall, anything related to seasons. Next, in the next century, or in this century, whatever. In the Iron Age, long periods. In the future, in the past. So these are few ways in which we use preposition of time in. Now let's look into some of the sentences to understand it much better. I walk in the morning every day. So that's my routine. Every day early in the morning, I go out for morning walks. Next, it is very hot in summer. Yes, because of global warming. Now the summers are very hot. So it is very hot in summer. It is springtime in April in India. So in India, spring usually comes during the month of April. So it is springtime. Again, it's focusing on the season. So springtime. But over here we are focusing in the month. Which month? In April. So we are using the preposition of time April. So when is spring approaching in India? In the month of April. The havoc created by the pandemic in 2020 will be etched in history. So the pandemic, how it has destroyed lives and created so much of panic and so much of suffering. So yes, it will be written down in history. The pandemic that happened in 2020. The blooming of flowers and fluttering of butterflies in the spring is a beautiful sight. So again, we are focusing here is in the season, in the spring. So what happens in the spring? We see flowers blooming everywhere, and as the flowers bloom, the butterflies come and flutter. So that's really a beautiful sight. So the flowers blooming and the fluttering of butterflies in the spring is a beautiful sight. Next, our planet will witness a lot of technical progress in the next century. So, yes, technically we are moving very fast. We are moving ahead very fast than what we were maybe 2 or 3 decades back. And as years approach, as this century comes to an end, as the next century approaches, many things will be much, much better, and technically will be much, much advanced. travel will be a reality in the future. So what will happen? We are planning going to space. So many things are happening as such around us. So maybe in the future, space travel will be a reality. So now, let's do a bit of comparison with the preposition of time at, on, and in. So what is at? At is very specific, on is less specific, and in is very general. So at pinpoints at specific time, on at dates and days, in it's particularly during a day, a month, a year, a season, a century, or long periods. Okay, now let's look at them. At specific time means at 2:30 p.m. or at 4 o'clock, any specific time. But on we don't have any time, we don't focus in time with on. In it's in an hour. Okay, that way we refer to as time. In an hour. Next, specific time, that is throughout the day. At noon, at night, and at midnight. So these 3 points where we use at. Whereas on is used on my birthday, on particular days, on my birthday, on your anniversary, okay? And over here, in we used to focus during the day. That means in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. So that is how we focus during a day. Now again specific time at sunrise, at sunset. So these are very specific times, when the sun rises or when the sun sets. And as we said, on is used to tell us about days. So what we say on Tuesday or on Sundays. So that way, any weekday. But in is used to talk about months. So in April or in June or in any other month. Next, again specific time at lunchtime, at bedtime. So these are all very specific times. But over here what we say is, when we talk about dates, on 1st January 2021 or 3rd of May. So this is how we talk about dates with the preposition of time on. Next, but in we focus during the year, like in 2021 or in the 1990s or the decade in the 90s. That is how we focus with in. Next, we use to talk about the holidays without the day with the preposition of time at Easter, at Diwali, that way. But if we have a day attached to it, then we'll have to use on. For example, on Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve, or on Independence Day. So whenever day is attached, we use on, and when it is without the day, we use at. And we use in for various seasons. Seasons is always in, because it's a very general term, because it's spread throughout, say maybe 2-3 months. So it's a long term. So for long periods, we use in. In the spring, or in summer, or in the fall. Next, again, very specific time, at the moment, at the weekend, or at the same time. So these are very specific or pinpointing at a particular period of time. Now with on, we don't have any such thing. And with in, we use a very general way of describing time. For example, in the Iron Age, or in the Ice Age, or in the next century. So that way we use a long period to express with the help of preposition of time in. Next, time we denote at 10:30. Very specific. At 10:30 or at 12:15, whatever. So that is very specific. With on, we don't have any such thing. In, as I told you, again, time means in the past or in the future. Okay, so that is very general or generic. It is very general. It's very widespread. Now, let's go to preposition of time where at, in, or on is not used. Let's see. When we use last, next, every, this to denote time, we do not use at, in, or on. Now let's look into some of the sentences to understand. For example, Raj went to London on a business meet last Wednesday. So over here, we are not saying on last Wednesday. That is wrong. We'll just have to say last Wednesday. Next, my brother is coming back next May. So it's not in next May, okay? Because for months we use in, but over here we won't use because next is already there, okay? So when there is last in front of Wednesday, we won't use on. When there is next in front of May, we won't use in. Next, we go home every Diwali. So here the word every is already conveying us that every year we are going home during the Diwali time. So we don't use at every Diwali. But if every was not there, then we would have used the word at. Since every is there, we cannot use the word at. Next, I will call you this afternoon, not in this afternoon. Now, preposition of time other than at, in, or on. We use by, during, for, from to, from until, since, to, within to denote extended time. For example, Sam will finish his project by 6 p.m. So, what will happen is, Sam will start maybe the project now or after some time, and by 6 p.m. today he's going to finish it. My brother will be with us during the summer. So, for the whole period throughout the summer, my brother will be with us. I will be staying with my mom for a month. So, I'll be spending time with my mom for a month. That means 30 days. So, that period I'll be spending with my mom. Henry will have to undertake a business tour from September to November. So, this is a period where he has to take a business tour. My daughter will be away from October until March. That means from October to March, my daughter will not be staying with us, will be away from home. That is. Mr. and Mrs. Green are staying in this house since 1989. So that means Mr. and Mrs. Green have moved here in 1989 and since then are still living over here. It is almost 15 to 6. That means I'm telling about the time. That means it's 15 minutes before 6 o'clock. It isn't 6 o'clock yet. After 15 minutes, it will be 6 o'clock. Maggie finished her management training within a year and a half. So, what happened? Maggie took a period of 1.5 years to complete her management, not longer than that. Now, let's do some revision. In conclusion, let us test our understanding of the subject. Use appropriate preposition of time at, in, or on to complete the sentences given below. Mr. Raman has a meeting blank 9 a.m. Do you work blank Saturdays? Space 2 will be considered a touring destination blank the next century. It often snows here blank January. Their anniversary is blank 18th February. The street light suddenly went out blank midnight. So think about the answers. I'm coming up with the answers now. Well, the answers. Mr. Raman has a meeting at 9 a.m. because this is again precise time. Do you work on Saturdays. So days will be preceded by preposition of time on. Space too will be considered a touring destination in the next century. With which century we use preposition of time in. It often snows here in January. Again with months we use in. Their anniversary is on 18th February. So with dates we use on. The street light went out at midnight. So with midnight we use at. Similarly, noon and night we use at. Thank you for being there with me. If you have liked the content, do give a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Do consider subscribing to my channel and press the notification bell icon for future updates. Bye. Take care.